Welcome to the Untrapped podcast, where we're motivated and inspired about success, small business, and personal development. And now, Keith Kalfas.
What's up? Welcome to this free video series on how to start a landscaping business and get it off the ground. I want to talk about how to get your first 10 customers, your first 100 customers. It's all the same when your first couple years are in the business. So I'm on a landscape job myself, so I'm going to make this quick and to the point because time is of the essence. So first of all, congratulations. You're getting your business off the ground. If you don't know too much about me, I'm Keith Kalfas. I started my landscape business like 12 years ago. I was stuck in dead-end jobs forever. I never thought I had the money to get my own business off the ground, so I never even tried. But then when my back was against the wall in 2011, I had debt collectors calling me and I had a new wife. I literally, I borrowed a wheelbarrow, a rake, a tarp, and a shovel. I gave my buddy like 15 bucks, my friend, and I started out of the back of my wife's car. I borrowed a truck. I got enough money to buy a piece of crap truck I called the Blue Goose with rust all over it. And I literally went hair on fire, full steam ahead, and was able to get the business off the ground in 6 weeks. Now here's the most amazing part. My back was against the wall and I had to make a decision because I had no other options. I was terrified. It took 6 weeks to get the business off the ground to the point where I was able to go full-time and quit my day job. I quit my day job in 6 weeks, and every single second was that I wasn't doing landscaping jobs, like literally knocking on doors and doing Craigslist ads and creating flyers and door hangers and business cards on Vistaprint.com and ordering shirts and hats and every second I was operating off of a thread. I'm talking eviction notice every other month for like the slip that you're a month late on rent for like a year straight. I mean, it was so scary, but so exciting and so rewarding, and I was making all the mistakes. Here's you. You're gonna have to go all in. You're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna underquote jobs, you're gonna not know what to do, you're gonna have to stay up all night watching YouTube videos and researching and go on Google. There's so much information in front of you, it's insane on how to do anything. If you're doing patios, retaining walls and fire pits, or just cutting grass, or probably not tree work. Actually, if you're doing patios and all that, you would want to start out real small and work your way up and get the proper training necessary. Don't do anything that's gonna put you in a courtroom, or don't do anything that's gonna get you in trouble, but start small. Grow your confidence. One of the things that you'll have in your advantage is your customers aren't stupid. They know exactly who they're hiring when they call you and when they see you, when they look at you. They're not stupid. They can see that you're just getting started and that maybe you don't have the nicest trucks and you have, that you're not this Taj Mahal company. So they're probably going to expect a little bit lower of a price. And if you have to do what you got to do, my favorite saying is, get in where you fit in. See where you're at and get in where you fit in. Where do you fit in? Maybe you're just getting started and you got to charge what you got to charge just to get the jobs. The goal is to generate as much activity in the business as possible in the beginning to fill up your calendar with work. Okay? Now, even if it's not the most profitable work, some people might disagree with me. Work creates work. If you could just get out there and get your first customer, how much should you charge? I don't know. If you got to pay yourself 20 bucks an hour at your basic job, triple that. 60 bucks an hour. Okay, so if it takes you could do 2 lawns in an hour, you got to get a minimum of 30 bucks a lawn. All right, if you're going to go work all day at 60 bucks an hour, 6 times 8 is 48. That's $480 in a day. So back in the day when I started, the goal was to try to get 200 to 300 bucks a day is the minimum for working as a freelancer. Now I'd say it's more like 300 to 500 minimum. When I go out and I work, I'm shooting for minimum, I don't know, the size of your business, it could be $1 million bucks a day, but for me it's about 900 a day minimum is what I got to do. We got a $700 minimum to do any project in our landscaping business. I used to be the $99 guy because we do landscape and all this stuff. We don't cut grass anymore. But for you, what do you charge? You're gonna have to literally get out there and keep giving yourself a raise until the customers are saying no about 50% of the time. What does that mean? Customers are saying yes all the time, the price is too low. If they're saying no, and you're closing about half of the jobs with the qualified leads, and what I mean is,
if you are looking for the greatest software ever to run your business on, go to getjobber.com/Keith. You can create proposals, invoices, collect payments, and track your entire business directly on the Jobber smartphone app. If you want to get a totally free trial of Jobber right now, open your browser, getjobber.com/Keith, and after the trial, if you decide to sign up with Keith's link, you'll automatically get 20% off your first 6 months. So what are you waiting for? Go to getjobber.com/Keith.
If you're trying to close the job and the customer's interested and they say no, that's a qualified lead. If you go and you walk around their property, it's a qualified lead. If they're just a bunch of random phone calls and people considering getting a quote, it's not a qualified lead, it's just a lead. A qualified lead means, hey, that means you're actually interested in going and doing that job. Of those ones that you actually give the customer a quote, you should be closing about 50% of them, about half of them. Now, people skills, rejection, all this stuff. You gotta get really comfortable with rejection. Be nice, personal, back straight. If you can get a nice embroidered shirt or some type of work shirt, wear work boots, not dirty tennis shoes. Maybe you get a clipboard in your hand, business cards, and be very heart of service, an attitude of service. Don't ever lie to a customer. If you don't know how to do something, say, I don't know, but I can find out, right? Don't ever bullshit a customer, and because customers are very, very smart. And if you take on you can get yourself caught up in here, because the customer will be like, oh, I really like you, can you do this and this and this and this and this? If you're desperate for money, you're gonna say, yeah, I can do that, and you're gonna get yourself over your head really quick, which might be good as long as the work isn't risky and it's not something that could cause an insurance claim or really mess something up. If it's just a whole bunch of work like property maintenance, it might be good to get in over your head and experience a little bit of anxiety and make barely any money on a few jobs, because you're going to feel that pain and feel that sting, and it's going to keep you up at night. You're going to come home at 10 o'clock at night with bags under your eyes and dirt on your fingernails, and you're going to be frustrated and freaked out, but you'll keep leaning into the fire and you're going to learn. It's all about learning, right? Okay, next, anxiety. I really don't like change that much. I've had a lot of anxiety in my life, and I've had to work on it. You have to control your anxiety and be very clear about what work you're putting on your schedule when you're getting going. If you bite it off, you gotta chew it, swallow it, you gotta eat it. So be very careful about what you put on your schedule and what you say yes to. Anytime in my landscaping business where I've ever tried to just squeeze something in, didn't work. Very hard to squeeze things in. You only got 24 hours in a day. What I mean is, if you're doing a job and the neighbor comes out, if you can for sure do it quick and make an extra $100 to $200, you should do that. But be aware it might push you into 6, 7, 8 o'clock. There's a difference between what's going on in your head and what's going on in reality. Live and die by your calendar. Get a Google Calendar. You probably already got it on your phone. It's free. And make sure you put everything on a schedule. The moment it comes into your stratosphere, to your circle of influence, every time you make a promise to a customer, whether it's to give a quote or to do a job, by habit, you want to take your Google Calendar out immediately. I'll color code it green. Mrs. Jones, quote. Give them a window. I don't ever say I'll be there at 9 a.m. because it might be 9:30. They'll be pissed. Say I'll be there between 9 and 11 a.m. You give them a window, and then you give them a 30-minute heads-up call when you're on your way. This is going in your calendar. So when you're face-to-face with Mrs. Jones, let's say you're cutting a lawn or you're trimming shrubs, and then a neighbor walks up and it's Mrs. Jones, and she's like, hey, I want a quote to do my stuff down the street. Go do it right away. Go do that quote. Give her, lock down that job, get a signature and a deposit, or get that on the schedule now. But if it's something that you can't get to, for instance, I just had a walk-up and I was able to close a $2,000 job right before this video. I'm doing another little job over here for $750. What I mean is, take out your phone right on the spot. Say, Mrs. Jones, I want to collect your information. Mrs. Jones. Okay, your email address so I can send your quote. Okay, Mrs. Jones at gmail.com. Your address, 12345 Strawberry Lane. Okay, anything else? Notes about the customer. Face to face, got your phone out. Let them know. Don't start looking at your phone. Be like, hey, I got my phone out because I'm taking all your information. Okay, saved. Now I'm opening up my calendar so I can book you. Okay, Mrs. Jones. I'm booking you for Monday morning, weather permitting. I'll be there between 9 and 11 a.m. I'll give you a 30-minute heads-up call when I'm on my way. You're typing this all in, saved on your calendar, synced to your...
Let me tell you something most service business owners never realize. You're spending money on Google Ads, Facebook, maybe SEO, maybe yard signs or flyers, but you have no idea which marketing is actually making your phone ring. That's where CallRail comes in. CallRail is call tracking software that shows you exactly which marketing source generated each phone call. So instead of guessing where your leads came from, you actually know. And when you know what's working, you can double down on it and grow your business faster. If you want to try it, go to keithkalfas.com/callrail. That's keithkalfas.com/CALLRAIL.
Gmail account or whatever, right? So now it's on your calendar, right? That way, because you're going to forget, make sure you know. I use a CRM called Jobber. It's a software. I'm affiliated with them. Getjobber.com/Kalfas. Getjobber.com/Kalfas. Get a free trial. But like, you don't even need that when you first get started. You can just literally use Google Calendar. It's when you get more advanced and you want to have like, of course you got a bill, so you got to have like a billing software and all these things. Get going, get some money, and then get something like Jobber and get all that other stuff. You're gonna need it, trust me. But in the beginning, you just want to get the business going. So you live and die by your calendar. Everything goes on the calendar. Personal events, family events, and you always have your calendar for everything. That way, because when you have 14, 15, 16 jobs and 20, 30 quotes book, it's all on your calendar. And now I want you to start paying attention to how long things take and document them either on a stopwatch, a clock, or on your phone, or on a note, or in your head at least. How long does it take to trim those shrubs? How long did it take to cut that grass, to install that mulch? How much is a yard of mulch? Pay attention to measurements and in relation to time all the time so you can get good, so you don't bite off too much and more than you can chew. And then if you start taking on jobs that are more than you can chew, I want you to do the 30% rule. You got to book in 30% extra time of what it would actually take. Let's say you book a job. That is it depends on the size of the job. If it's like a 5-day job, you might book an extra 10% time. So for instance, if you take on a job that you think it's going to take you a day, say it's going to take you 7 hours, right? Well, you want to book like an hour before to get ready and get for that job, and an hour after to break down that job and clean everything up and deal with the customer and talk and do the administration. So that 7-hour day is really like a 9-hour day, right? The reason that's important is because if you got a little tiny job, this job's going to take us 3-4 hours. It's good. Well, how long does it take you to communicate with the customer, go get the little mulch, and then, trim the shrubs or cut the grass or do the thing, and then it takes you till 2:30 p.m. You thought you were going to get that shit done by 11:30 or at noon, but you didn't think about lunch and all. So you got to be very practical and tactical about how long shit takes. And when you get better and better and better at this, and you start closing these jobs at a 50% margin rate, then you want to get into the 50% profit margin. What is this? Here's the golden rule. This will make sure you'll never lose money. If you quote a job and you think the job is going to cost you $800 to do the job, for the mulch, the materials, you got to pick up a shovel and a wheelbarrow on the way, put that in there, all that stuff, not including your own personal pay. Times it by 2. Excuse me. Charge $1,600 for that job. If you can take whatever, now what if you don't know how much it costs because you haven't been doing this long enough? That's okay. Take your best math that you can possibly come up with to what it will cost you to do this job. Say, hey, I really think this job is going to cost me about $300. Times it by 2 and charge the customer. Submit the quote. Tell the customer it's going to be $600. That way, when the whole job is done, you're going to make that $300 profit. And if something goes wrong, you'll still make $200 profit. If you don't make that 50% gross profit, at least you'll make 35%. But you got to make money. And I want you to think, here's the next thing I want you to think about when you're quoting these jobs and selling to customers. And don't ever give a customer a price on the spot verbally until you get really, really good at this. Because there's implied and expressed. Implied means you're giving a customer a vote. You think that they know what you mean, but expressed means in writing. Whether you send them an email or a text message, or you have something formal, like we use Jobber, or email so they know.
I created a group called the Untrapped Alliance where we go live every other Wednesday night in a controlled environment. I'm sick of scrolling on social media. I'm sure you are too. Let's get focused on our businesses. We already started the group, so if you join at keithkalfas.com/alliance, you can get access to the replays. And the bonus is we're gonna have special guest experts who run multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses. They're gonna come on and teach us how to do sales, marketing, persuasion, close higher ticket jobs. These are people who got their shit together. And I'm really excited to have them on. Go to keithkalfas.com/alliance. I'll see you on the Wednesday night call. Let's go.
This is the most important thing of it all. Don't tell the customer a price until if you have to go, hey, give me 5 minutes, I gotta go sit in my truck and crunch some math, I'll be right out. A professional contractor who knows he's not good enough at this math, especially if it's a bigger job, knows to not give a price on the spot unless you're really freaking good. I think I'm really good. I can give quotes up to 15 grand on the spot because I've just done this my whole life, right? But go in your truck, crunch some math, say, how much do I need and want to make on this job? But worst case, how much do I really need to make on this job? If I need to make $500 on this job, this is so important. Do all the math to your best possible ability, plus that rule I said, how long it take you to get there, to break down and clean up the job. What if it rains and you got to come back, right? All that stuff's going to eat into your profit margin at the end of the day. If you're walking away pissed off, which you will sometimes, you still got to say, worst case, how much do I got to make on this job to make it worth it for me so I'm not freaking miserable doing this? You got to make 500 and you got to charge 1,500. Let's say you got to charge 1,500 to do this job because you want to you got to make 500 bucks off this. You've done all the math and put your owner's profit first and say, this is what I need. So you could crunch the numbers hourly and everything, but at the end of the day, what do you need to make off this job? Then also I want you to do the math and figure out how much you need to make per day, per week, per month, per year, right? Well, you could do all that. I'm like, I need to make 20 million per year. That needs, I need to charge $346 per man hour. And I go tell the customers, like, I'm not paying you that much. Difference between what's in your head and what's in reality, right? So what do you need to do to fix that scenario? But what I'm saying is, what do you really need to make and what do you want to make, right? And so for me, it's like, I want to make 700 bucks a day is my goal, profit after all expenses. Do I make that sometimes? Yes. Do I make it other times? No. I've made a whole bunch. I've made a whole little. That's sometimes in this business, you'll work like 5 hours and make like a grand profit. And then other times you'll work like 50 hours and make a grand profit. It's just like this. So don't get up. That brings me to my final step, and it's the end of this video. Do not get upset too much when you've worked your tail off and you didn't make a lot of money. Just really quickly learn and go look at them. I go look at my own eyes in the mirror. I'm crazy. I go, don't you ever do that ever again. Now put the war paint on your face and go back out there and go crush it. Don't do that no more. We don't do that. If you have to write it down, don't do that stupid thing that made you not make no money, right? You be very careful and mindful. Stick to your guns. It's a huge internal growing, and the more you grow on the inside is the more you'll grow on the outside, right? So that was the final thing I wanted to say. Sometimes you're going to hit jackpot jobs. Doesn't mean you're taking advantage of the customer or anything. You might just have some skills that allow you to get in and out in a couple hours, and you just made $1,300 in 2 hours. We just did a job last week. It's 2,300. We are in and out in 2.5 hours. It just happened. We don't even get excited anymore when that happens. Who cares? Why? Because I know that after something like that not cool might happen. It just all equals out. But I want you to get excited. I want to encourage you, right? I want to encourage you, okay? All right, I got to go. I hope that served you. I wish you all the best of success in the world. Congratulations on your business. And stay tuned for the next video. Check your email because I'm sending you another video, all right? Hey, I hope you liked the show. And if you like the Untrapped podcast and you get value from it, can you please take a minute and go over to Spotify and leave it a well-worded positive 5-star review? It helps boost the rankings on Spotify so the show can get to more people. Therefore, these messages can get out to more people and inspire more people so then they can go out and start their small businesses and crush it and get to the next level. It's a huge deal. All right, I'll see you in the next show.